Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sorry, I heard myself echo and it kind of freaked me out for a second. Okay, so welcome to the Add-ons community meeting for June 1st, 2020. Wow, it's already June. Pretty crazy. So we're joined today by myself, Sylvain, Jorge, and Atik. Atik, it's really good to see you. Atik is officially joining us this week as our Google Summer of Code intern. He's going to be working on the Extension Activity Monitor project, so super stoked to have Atik here. Atik's also been a longtime member of the add-ons community. Atik, you've been around for what, like 4 or 5 years now? So really glad to have you on board with our group. I just want to take a moment to start off and give a quick shout out to Uri. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his last name. Uri is our newest friend of add-ons. He's an extension developer and a frequent contributor to our community forum where he helps add-on developers find answers to their technical questions about developing extensions for Firefox. Additionally, Uri is just a really lovely person. He's building a number of add-ons. He really cares about Mozilla's mission, and he is just absolutely delightful to talk to. So thanks so much for making our ecosystem a great place, Uri, and congratulations. We'll have a blog post featuring his contributions up later this week. I did want to take a minute to just check in with everybody this morning. I think I'm the only person on this call who's based in the US, but I know between COVID and some of the news coming out of the US, this has been a really turbulent time, I think, in the world. And I just want to check in with everybody and see how they're doing. Like, how's everybody? Is everybody hanging in there okay?
All good on my side.
Okay.
Working from home, same thing for the past 2-3 months. It's going good. Everybody is healthy around me, and we're slowly being able to see other people, like inviting people in our backyard, for example. No more than 10 people at a time, and they cannot come inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the community and friends are slowly building back to what it was once. So it's going good.
Good.
Thank you, Caitlin, for the appreciation. I'm from Bangladesh, and I've been working for 2-3 months, from home, and no college this now. So yeah, working on now. I've been working on the GSOC project. Thank you.
Okay, good. So Atik, are you still in school then, or has your term ended?
I'm in university. I'm in university. I'm currently in third year. I'm currently in third year of my university, actually.
Okay.
Is that answer your question? I didn't understand fully.
Oh, sorry. Like, are your classes still going on, or like, do you have like summer breaks? Like, are you on summer break right now?
No. My class was supposed to go on now, this time actually, but due to COVID-19, the classes has been suspended.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're with us doing stuff while class is suspended.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, I just want to say, just because things are really crazy, if something comes up and you ever need some time to process, just be kind to yourself, give yourself a little bit of space. There's a lot going on. Okay, I'm going to dive into some quick administrivia. There is going to be no community meeting on June 15th, so that would be our next add-ons community meeting. And there's going to be no add-ons show and tell on June 18th. So I'm going to check in with folks and see if there's any interest in moving our show and tell to the following week, or if we should just go ahead and cancel for June and come back in July. I know people have wanted to kind of have a few more like online touch-ins, just because a lot of people are still in isolation, and it's good to get out and see folks and kind of take your mind off of things. So I'll keep y'all updated, and I'll post an update on Discourse if we decide to reschedule or if we decide to go ahead and cancel. So our next add-ons community meeting is not going to be until June 29th. This kind of ties in, I'm gonna actually just skip over something really quickly. The reason why we're not having a community meeting on June 15th is because that's gonna be the week of Mozilla's Virtue All Hands, so virtual all hands. I thought that was kind of cute. So this is the week that we would have been in Toronto with the entire Mozilla corporation and invited guests. That's not happening this year for obvious reasons. So what is happening though is that we are going to be doing some virtual meetups. What this is looking like right now is there's going to be 2 plenaries, and then there's going to be an innovation sprint and hackathon and some demo sections. So what is going to happen is that a bunch of if you're an NDA'd Mozillian, you're going to get an invite to attend the plenaries, and I think also the hackathon and the demos meetings. So this is something that you would have ordinarily had access to because this is going to be streamed on Air Mozilla. And if you're in the NDA Mozillians group, you do have access to that content on Air Mozilla. But this time you're going to get a specific invite with the dates and times. So a lot of these are going to be happening at like 8 a.m. Pacific time. So for folks who are in other time zones, just be aware that we're trying to find a time zone that works for folks. It might be a little tough if you can't attend things live because it's an insane hour of day for you. I encourage you to just watch a recording of it later. So there's going to be the plenaries, and then we're going to try to fit in some team time. And the team time is either going to be, we're trying to fit in some like socializing time where we can just kind of be social with one another, which is one of the biggest benefits of having an in-person all hands. Again, with the time zones, that's going to be really tight. And because additionally, I think we're also looking at having some other add-ons meetings for project work. So the project work is going to be the project work right now, we don't have any plans to have those sessions just openly streaming on Air Mozilla. Those are probably going to be similar to what we would do in person, which is kind of like we have discussions in smaller groups and then we report out as appropriate. So once we kind of get a better idea of what we might be talking about, we'll be reaching out to folks for participation if folks have been involved with some of those projects that we're going to be talking about. And I would say if you have any questions about what those topics are, we can share the topics that we're planning to discuss probably in a lot of cases, but just feel free to talk to me and I can kind of help let you know what we're talking about and what our anticipated outcomes are going to be. Does all that make sense? Are there any questions? Yeah, I see Sylvain had asked how our invite's going to work. Yeah, that's how.
Thank you. It's already, it's answered now.
Yeah, that's the current plan. So invites should be coming out, I think, pretty soon. I would say if you haven't heard anything from Mozilla by the end of, not even by the end of next week. I would say if you haven't heard something from Mozilla by June 10th, just feel free to ping me and I'll try to track down what's going on. Yeah, all hands. Cool. Okay. One thing I just wanted to note for folks is that we had a recent pop onto the first page of Hacker News, and not in a terrible way, which is always a nice thing. So if you haven't seen the thread already, I just wanted to share, somebody had reposted a blog post that Scott had worked on about extensions to help people who are currently staying at home because of COVID-19. That had been published in April, and seemingly out of the middle of nowhere, it kind of popped up to the top of Hacker News about a week and a half ago. And what we saw in there was a lot of positive sentiment about folks who are just really excited about being able to customize their browser to do, to help them accomplish the things that they want to accomplish when they're on the web. So it's an interesting thread. There's a lot of really interesting comments there. And I think one of our big takeaways is that we want to continue talking about customization to users and really being able to empower users to customize their browsers to experience the web the way that makes sense for them. So you might be seeing a little bit more stuff coming out from us about that, but we really want to, we're taking a look at our messaging right now for users and trying to make sure that that message is coming home and getting across. Okay, so then moving on, Firefox 77 is released tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. So Scott has been working on a blog post about extensions that have just been added to the recommended extensions program. That should be coming out this week. And I see Sylvain has added that the community project of recommended extensions for April, May is now completed. Oh, that's really great. Sylvain, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We are about 4 or 5 people in the community that works with Scott to find and rate and comments different extensions that could end up being in the recommended list. So every 2 months, we have a list that we need to go through, rate them, and if it passes Scott's list of what needs to be inside the recommended extension and it passes code review, then normally it goes to the recommended list. So we did the community did the first pass through this list. And now it's up to Scott to look this out.
All right, very cool. So the evaluation continues. So if folks are interested in submitting a nomination for the recommended extensions program, the link that Sylvain linked to in his comment will take you to the overview page. You're going to want to email amo-featured@mozilla.org. That's our general mailing list. Unfortunately, due to the high volume of submissions that we receive, we're not able to respond to each one individually, but just know that what happens is we get the request, there's kind of like a filtering process. It goes to the community board for feedback. And then if it seems like it makes sense in our program, at that point, we'll usually reach out to the developer to see if they want to partner with us on it. Very cool. Cool. Okay. So Firefox 77 comes out tomorrow. We've got some cool stuff that kind of happened on the back end that is hopefully going to make it easier for developers and users on the front end, as if that sentence means anything. So one of the biggest wins for Firefox 77 and extensions is that we made a lot more permissions optional, and we're really going to try to encourage we'd like to see developers using those optional, moving those permissions from permissions to the optional permissions key. And then also, if possible, requesting those permissions at runtime. So that'll help users kind of see the permission requests in context of what the user is doing and the feature that the extension is trying to get. We've heard a lot of feedback from folks that they are really overwhelmed by the number of permission requests that they get. And we've also seen users, myself included, as you can probably see from this little guy on my browser, users get stranded if more permissions are added during an update and the user doesn't see the notification and accept it. They get stranded on an older, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, on an older version. So by setting those permissions optional, you can kind of avoid that and reduce the number of users who are getting stranded, and also reduce the number of notifications that the users get. We also fixed some underlying issues with headers that merge like CSP and same-site cookie requests. Sometimes if users had extensions that used multiple extensions that kind of did that, they would see some really weird stuff happening. So it looks like we've fixed the underlying issue now. So add-ons should be working as expected if you're one of those users that has many of those extensions installed. And then we had a couple of other bug fixes. So Philip's blog post went live on Friday. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'll also drop a link to the blog post in this agenda. All right, any questions about Firefox 77? All right, very cool. The last thing is that at our last meeting, I talked a little bit about Chrome's stay-at-home collection. So these are the extensions that they're promoting as part of their stay-at-home for COVID-19 collection. So this spreadsheet just kind of lists what those extensions are and if there's currently something available similar for Firefox. And I think that one of my ongoing projects is to reach out to these developers and try to encourage them to port over to Firefox. I think we're all pretty dedicated Firefox users here, but if any of these look interesting to you and you would like to see them available on Firefox, sometimes it helps to have oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, everyone. Sometimes it helps to have a little bit of user advocacy. So if you say I'm a user, I'd really be interested in having this available on Firefox. And if you can get a few friends to join in on that, sometimes that helps developers port. So that was all of the updates that I had for this week. Are there any questions or anything else that anyone would like to add?
I got a question regarding the virtual HoloLens.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it will be probably the same way you guys will do things for January 2021.
Possibly. I think what this is this is going to be a test to see what works and what doesn't. Okay. January, there may be some tweaks for January 21. There probably will be based on kind of what the experience for this is. But yeah, I would imagine that we're going to be adopting something pretty similar for January in lieu of the in-person all hands that have been scheduled.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, very good. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. As always, if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to share them with us. Keep on rocking the free web, as we used to say. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a good week. Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.